Hi, my name is Thomas, and today we will be going over how to search for records, how to add records, and a little bit about individual and organization records as well. So, to start out, there's a couple different ways that you can go about searching or adding records. So, one way is going to be through this add search menu here. So, if I click here, you'll see I have an option to search for individuals or organizations. These work the exact same. I'm just going to hit individuals to start out with. And what you can do is you can either type in a name or an address or a phone number that you have in your system, or I'm just going to hit this search button at the bottom left to run a blank search. So I'm going to do that. And I only have two individual records in my database, as you can see, Sally Porter and Bob Sanders. You can see this person's occupation, their employer, address, phone number, etc. And also, if I hover over these little dollar signs, I can see that person's donation history as well. So you don't have to click into the record to view their donation history. You can always just hover over this little dollar sign. So I'm just gonna start out and go to Bob Sanders' record. And you'll see a bunch of fields here that are, and they're all editable, of course. So if I want to edit, make his occupation something else, I can just click in there. And then once I'm done, I can click away. Same goes for over here. If I want to add an email for him, I can just hit this little plus sign. You'll see there's little plus signs all over the place. So if I wanted to add a new phone number or whatever, I can hit a plus sign here. Or if I want to edit the existing phone number, I can just click on it here. And maybe I make it 9988 instead, and then I hit update, and that will update that. And if I want to add an email, I can do that here, bobsanders@yahoo.com. I can make it his primary email and add email. Now he's got an email. You've got his transactions here. He's given one time $300 on October 31st. We've got a couple other fields here that I want to talk about. One being flags. Flags are useful for essentially flagging any record for any reason that you might want to do that. So one example might be you flag someone as a Democrat or as a Republican or as pro-choice or pro-life, or maybe you flag them as a potential high dollar donor or whatever. You can add as many flags as you want, and then you can use that flag to run reports later on. You can run a report for a specific flag and just helps distinguish who is who. So you can click in here and you can see existing flags. So I've got one flag called high dollar donor, and then the description is for people who have donated more than 5,000. Then I have another flag called woman over 50, and then my description is just testing. So I can apply this flag if I want to Bob Sanders, and now he's got that flag. So next section I want to talk about is the relationships. So if Bob was, say, the treasurer for your own committee or maybe a treasurer for another committee, you can add a relationship to that committee here. So if I hit add relationship, the affiliated is going to be the name of the committee, or maybe you put his spouse there. Maybe you want to add his wife. You can put the person that you're associating them with, or the record you're associating them with, goes here in the affiliated. And then the relationship type, so you can see here we've got a bunch of different relationship types. So assistant treasurer, candidate, employee, friend, grandparent, parent, sibling, spouse, whatever it may be, you can add that here. And it just helps you kind of determine who is who, as well as like adding treasurer relationships and candidate relationships. Those are useful for compliance reporting as well, making sure that the correct people show up where they're supposed to on those compliance reports. So I'll hit cancel out of here. Next thing I want to talk about is the communication section. So this is more of a fundraising tool. Essentially, if you're using ISP for fundraising, maybe you're calling potential donors to ask them for money or whatever it may be. Once you call them, you can log that communication on their record. So if I hit the plus sign here, we have a bunch of different communication types, like outbound call, outbound email, outbound letter, so on. So let's say I called this guy today and asked him for some money. I can record an outbound call on today, November 18th. Let's say I called him at 4 p.m. and I'll say, asked him for 5,000. And I can add communication. So that way, when I come back to his record in maybe a month from now, I know, okay, the last time I called him was November 18th. I can call him again whenever you feel like you need to call him. So then we've got, if this person was a candidate, maybe he was Bob Sanders for president was his committee and he's the candidate, you might want to add their candidate info here. Essentially, this is going to be their party, their state, and then their jurisdiction, office, ID number as well. This is important for compliance reporting, so keep that in mind. So at the beginning of this call, I said that there are a couple different ways to search for records. And the one that we just did was this one through the add search menu, individuals or organizations. If I go to organizations, you'll see it looks exactly the same as the individuals one. Just a few different fields that you can search for, like you can search for business types, political committee types, things like that. Or if you just want to search for a business, or just a political committee, you can do that as well. But the other way that you can search, and probably one you'll be using more frequently, is going to be just this little magnifying glass up here at the top. We call this the quick search. So you can just type in whatever here. Like if I hit Sanders, you can see that I've got Bob Sanders here. He's in my database. I can just click on him and I'm right back where we were just a minute ago, looking at Bob Sanders' record.